What's up guys, welcome to the channel. So let's just dive right into it and talk about all the games that I have on the PSP. Now, interesting fact, almost, only one didn't fit in here, but almost all the games that I have for the PSP fit inside of this Xbox One box. Everything but one game, and what that one game is, well, watch the video and you'll find out. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting, and this has nothing to do with PSP, but on the top of this box, there's a little sticker that says compatible with Xbox 360 games. Now, I don't own every 360 game, and certainly the ones that I own are very obscure. You know, most of them are, Japanese at this point. But only one game worked, all the games I tried, and that game is Raiden 4. I guess I should be grateful that that game worked. It was the US release, but everything else that I threw at this thing, as far as Xbox 360 goes, wasn't compatible at all. So it's kind of a bold claim to say that this thing is compatible when it's only compatible with one game, at least that I tried. But maybe your Halos and all your common stuff that you would find at like a Best Buy or GameStop, maybe all that stuff will work. But enough of the Xbox One and the Xbox 360. Let's get into the PSP games. I was thinking about it, guys. I was thinking about, should I separate them into categories, show them some common stuff, and shit, I'm going to be out there flexing with them RPGs and stuff by the end of the video, but nah, fuck all that. Let's just open the box and I'll show you guys the games at random. Random games. And then at the end of the video, maybe I'll flex a little with the last game since it wouldn't fit in the box, but it's not even anything that special. I guess I'll just show you. I keep my PSP and my charger in these little cases. You can get these on eBay. They're like $2 a case. Oh lord, there goes a battery. But everything I keep inside of the box, chargers, extra batteries. This is an El Cheapo battery. This battery, actually, I wouldn't mind if I, lost this or threw it away. Memory cards. A lot of them are, have hacks on them and stuff like that. So emulators and all that kind of stuff. Here's the PSP that I use all the time. This thing has been through the ringer. I got duct tape on the back holding it together, but man, this is a PSP 2000 and it works great. Can't say enough good things about this system. But those are just sitting at the top. Let's get into the game. So first game sitting on the top is, and I've never even opened this, it was just, I didn't even pay that $12.99. I think I might have paid $5 for this. But it was 2 new PSP games and it came in a dual pack. Companies did this, towards the end of systems life cycles. Some of the better games will throw them in combination packs like this. But, it was cool to pick up for, a couple of dollars. Here's another one. I don't have a lot of these games boxed, but Prinny, I remember buying this at a retro store of all places for like less than $10. It might have been like $8 or $9, but it is complete with like a soundtrack and maybe an art book. Games in there. Now, Prinny 2 is kind of pricey. I've been looking for that game. I can't find it, but this is actually a pretty fun platformer. Not a very expensive game either, so this is a kind of obscure game, but you guys can find this online relatively cheaply, I think, at least from the last time that I checked. Okay, here's a good one. Ooh, Lord Jesus. I'll pull out the Castlevania game and the camera don't know how to act, but we have Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles. Basically what this is, if you guys ever wanted to play Dracula X on the Super Nintendo, or that was kind of a port of Rondo of Blood on the TurboGrafx 16, this is actually a remade version of that in 3D. Which is just like the way I described it. And actually there is a port of Rondo of Blood in English on this UMD disc, so I highly recommend this game. But with the ease of emulation and PSP stuff, it's so easy just to download it now. But I don't buy these to download. I buy these because I like collecting physical copies of PSP stuff because I can fit a collection inside of a box. Well, most of it anyway. But anyway, we have Castlevania the Dracula X Chronicles. Next game, Metal Slug Anthology. The first Metal Slug Anthology game that I ever got was actually an import for the PlayStation 2 that just had, most of the Metal Slug games on it. This is just disc only, and this disc is actually in a pretty rough shape, actually. It's got a little, God. But the game works. The game works fine. I printed cover art for this game. So obviously this game is really not, worth a whole lot. It does work, though. And the UMD is not scratched. I've played this game, quite a bit. But anyway, Metal Slug Anthology, not complete at all. I just printed some cover art for it. As with a couple of these games, I'll actually show you. Here's another one I printed cover art for that's not original at all. Here's Persona 3. And it looks like I have a Final Fantasy manual in here. I don't know. I think I had an extra manual, so I just had to stick it somewhere. And there wasn't a manual inside of this case. So I'll just leave that in there. But yeah, we have Persona 3 Portable, you know, printed cover art. As you can see, there's no UPC code or anything, but you know, it looks pretty cool. Let's see, where's another printed cover art game? Here's another one. Here's another one, the very first Persona, which is a remake of Persona 1, and this is more of a port of the Japanese version. A lot of people were actually happy when this game came out, and this, you know, along with Persona 3 Portable, they both came in collector's editions, kind of like Printy over there. Those editions are probably some of the pricier games you'll see on the PSP, so, you know, if you find these disc only, which is how I found these, you know, just print some cover art and buy, like, you know, 2 for $1 cheap PSP games, and, you know, then you can have them sit on your shelf and not look terrible. Let's see. All right, next game, I'm just pulling these out at random now. We have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, which is a pretty decent game. I want to start getting through this kind of quick, guys, and just talk about some of the stuff I really like a lot. Never played this before, the Valhalla Knights 2. I don't think I have Valhalla Knights 1. This game's a pretty fun game. Alien Syndrome. Action game, you know, kind of like a first-person shooter. It's cheap too, see, $5. Yeah, it's a third-person shooter, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is a fun game. Another one I haven't played is Disgaea. I just know it's a strategy RPG, and it was pretty cheap, so I picked it up. Now, this game I really liked, and this is one of those coveted RPGs on the PSP, but Joan d'Arc, which is like a retelling of Joan of Arc. And they have really good voice acting in this game. It's like, you know, like they're trying to sound like they're French or whatever. Yeah, good game, good RPG. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's been quite a few years since I played it. This game right here has a pretty cool, like a foil cover. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, but Third Birthday, which some people say this is Parasite Eve 3, and I don't know if I would agree with that, but yeah, Third Birthday. Let's see, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. God, I almost have paid for this one, $15. I know this came out on the PlayStation 2 as well, and I have that version, but they are completely different games. But one game I started playing recently that's really, really good is Ghost in the Shell on the PlayStation 1, which was actually, I believe, that the creators of Jumping Flash, which knew the mechanics of the PlayStation quite well, actually made that first Ghost in the Shell game on the PlayStation 1. So anyway, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex on the PSP. And we have Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and that's kind of an expensive price, and I probably paid that too on this. Yeah, this is like maybe $2 or $3 at any store now. And same with this game, super cheap, Metal Gear Acid 2. I never really got into the Metal Gear series. I played the very first one on the NES, and I wasn't really crazy about it. I remember typing in random numbers in the, you know, like the password screen or whatever for saves, and I got like really far in the game just by typing in random numbers. But yeah, anyway, Metal Gear Acid 2. And here's another one I haven't played. Rengoku 2. And here's another one I haven't played, but it is brand new, never opened it. That's Everyday Extend. I do know it's a puzzle game. Oh, here's a good one. Here's one I have played. Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. There's many games in the Legend of Heroes, I guess, series. And they're all pretty good from what I've played. I've played, you know, some on the PlayStation 3, some on the PSP. There's actually versions. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2 is getting a PS4 port in English, so I think that's actually up for pre-order right now on PlayAsia's website, or at least up there. They're at least showcasing it now. But anyway, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. And we have Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. I've played this before. You know, using the PSP to play fighting games isn't the best option. You know, I just like to collect for the PSP. So anyway, we got a Street Fighter. And here is I believe this is a strategy RPG. I played a little bit of it and I wasn't crazy about it, but maybe I should give it another chance. But that's Generation of Chaos. This game kind of, I used to say that this game, Yagdra Union. I used to say that this game was like Dragon Force on the Saturn, which, yeah, I have Dragon Force, played it. It's an okay game. It's a lot of hype to it. But I used to tell people that this game kind of played like Dragon Force, and it kind of does as far as some of the cinematics go, but other than that, not at all. And I've actually heard other YouTubers say that Ydra Union actually plays like Dragon Force, and I mean, like I said, some of the cinematics are going to remind you of Dragon Force, but this game does not play like Dragon Force, so I don't believe that. But anyway, pretty decent game, Ydra Union. This game, I thought the graphics on this game were pretty cool, and it's funny, in the beginning of this game, you can tell that this main character right here, he does not like children, which is kind of weird because he looks like a 16 or 17-year-old in the game. But for some reason, he has like a complex about being around or working for or whatever that has to do with children. So I'd hate to see him grow a little bit older and actually have a child for himself. But awesome game. That's Miyamana IR Chronicle. I'd go as far as to saying this is a pretty serious hidden gem, guys. And I'm sure it's pretty cheap. You can probably buy it for like $10 on eBay. Or just download the ROM and play it that way. Don't spend any money on it. Fuck it. But yeah, Miyamana IR Chronicle. Here's 3 back-to-back that were sitting right next to each other. We have 3 Final Fantasy games. This one's actually, look, I got this at Kmart. I bought this at Kmart before they came out around here, went out of business, but it's brand new. Final Fantasy 2, there's Final Fantasy, and this game is actually a badass strategy RPG, and that's Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. If you played the original Final Fantasy Tactics on the PlayStation 1, then you are going to love Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions on the PSP. You know, again, you know, if you don't feel like looking for this game, download the ROM. There's many ways to emulate PSP games. Okay, guys, moving right along, we have Lord of Arcana. Now, I cannot remember playing this game. I remember buying it because of the Square Enix, but it's been so long, and I never played it. But, I mean, I know you guys are probably guilty of that too, so don't get on me for it. But anyway, we have Lord of Arcana. Again, haven't played this one. It could be an amazing game. You know, let me know in the comments down below if this is amazing and I'm really missing out. But Tactics Ogre on the PSP. And this game I have not completed, but I have played it. Phantasy Star Portable 2. God, it's been so long since I played this. Now, I forget whether the online factor is the major factor in this game. I feel like it's not. I feel like there's a lot of single player fun to be had in this game, but I do feel like there was an online thing with this that I don't know if it can still be accessed or not. But anyway, Phantasy Star Portable 2. I don't think I own Phantasy Star Portable 1. Let's see. Ooh, there's some good RPGs in there. All right, cool. I got some cool stuff to show y'all. Okay, so this game, Wild Arms XF. Now, this is a really, really good game on the PSP. I've been saying this is like a hidden gem for the longest time, and I'm not a huge fan of strategy RPGs. This is actually a hexagonal grid strategy-based RPG. It's really good. The story's good. The cutscenes are good. The only thing that I don't like is that when you're in towns and villages, having the menu system instead of walking around and exploring, but, you know, that's just something they did over in Japan that carried over here. And if you want to play these games and experience them faster, those menu systems in towns do work better. But one thing I noticed, and this game for the longest time was really cheap. Somebody must have made a video on this game maybe 6 or 7 months ago, because I noticed the price on this game like skyrocketed. So I'd say upwards of like $50, $60, $70. And maybe this was close to a year ago, I forget, but I'm sure the price probably went down on this since then. You can probably find this for $20, maybe $30. If you can find this game for $30, I still recommend it. Awesome game, and this one is actually complete in box. CIB, bitches. Okay, Frantics. God, I think I bought this because I saw a puzzle adventure, but I do remember paying, yeah, see, $2, that's why. But look at that. Look at the pictures on the back. Doesn't that look cool? Never played it before. If this is awesome, let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, Frantics on the PlayStation Portable. Okay, we have Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. Now, I have played this. Now, I do remember this being like a remake of Mega Man X1 on the Super Nintendo, just kind of like in a 3D way. And you saw a lot of Sony stuff and a lot of games on the PlayStation 2 that came out on other systems with that fresh coat of paint, that 3D remake. More notable one that I got recently was an import, was Twinkle Star Sprites, which would kind of remind you of other PS2 releases like the Hudson Selection games. But anyway, so Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. So one thing about this game, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe it's just me being crazy, but the graphics on this reminded me of a cell phone game just a little bit. And you know, the characters on a cell phone game, like for one, I'm not a huge fan of cell phone games because I downloaded Gunbird 2 and I downloaded a version of Strikers 1945 2 and died like 1 or 2 times, and then I had to pay money. Like, are you serious? Like, I gotta pay money to play a game on a mobile phone? Like, I get it, they gotta make money, but I'd rather pay money for it and have the real version, something I can use a Bluetooth controller with and Miracast my TV in Tate mode or something, you know. But anyway, this reminded me of a cell phone game, and just the characters, like with the big heads. It's kind of like if you guys ever seen Friday After Next, where Craig's cousin says, Blvd, got more head than he got body. That's what I think about when I see these big head ass cell phone game characters, but this is still a pretty cool game. I don't know why I'm rambling on, but Mega Man Maverick Hunter X on the PSP. Next up we have A Legend of Heroes Tear of Vermilion, or The Legend of Heroes A Tear of Vermilion. Yeah, pretty good RPG. I don't remember finishing this game, but if I didn't see that title, I would not know that this is a Legend of Heroes game, although it looks like a game I'd be interested in just by the anime artwork alone. I do think A Tear of Vermilion had a sequel or two, and they might be some of the pricier games on the PSP. I'm not 100% on that, so if I'm wrong, or, you know, let me know, do correct me, whatever, in the comments down below, because I do like finding these type of games. They're just so hard to find out here. You know, I can find a lot of stuff out here in Baltimore, but PSP stuff, damn. Okay, so next up, this is a good one. We have Valkyrie Profile Lenneth. So we all know Valkyrie Profile, PS1, expensive game. I do own it, played it, beat it, loved it. I still love it. Great game. And introduced some pretty cool game mechanics, and the graphics are just timeless. I highly recommend it. But I recommend you play this version for many reasons. First of all, the price, obviously. I see this at every retro store, at least I used to, and not even that long ago, for like 20 bucks. Everybody had it in Pennsylvania and in Baltimore area. I would always find this. You know, sometimes they sold, sometimes they didn't, but I'd see it all the time for 20 bucks. I bought my copy online for 20. It's just the going price for this game. PlayStation 1 version's probably 100. It could be more now, I don't know. But everything is on just the one UMD and not the 2 discs. And this game actually has added bonus like cutscenes and footage to this version that we didn't get on the PlayStation 1. So I highly recommend this game. This is a turn-based, timing-based RPG. To my friend at Backlog Games, man, and I know that you really like the Robot Tyson DS game, and I do too. I love it. It's one of my favorite RPGs. If you've probably played and loved this game too, man, for all I know. But I'm just saying, if you haven't, man, play Valkyrie Profile if you're a fan of Robot Tyson and OG Saga Endless Frontier, because if you like that game, you will love Valkyrie Profile. And, you know, this is one of those games, download the ROM, play this bitch on an emulator. Alright, moving right along, let's pull out another little stack. Here we have, here's a good one. Here's a good one. We have Tales of the World Radiant Mythology. Wow, what can I say about this game? This is a great action RPG, what you'd expect out of a Tales of game. There's characters from many Tales games in this game. You're going to see, you know, Tales of the Abyss. You're going to see, Tales of Destiny, Tales of Destiny 2. You're going to see characters from a lot of Tales of games. And Mormo, I believe that's his name. I forget, it's been a while since I played it, but Mormo, I fucking love Mormo, man. I wish Mormo was my pet. I love him. It sucks that he came from a planet that was destroyed, and just a splinter of that planet remained, and he was the only one that lived. It is sad, but yeah. But anyway, Tales of the World Radiant Mythology, love this game. Highly recommend it. It's like a $25 game, buy it online. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Now, look. You guys might get on me for this because I have played this and I do love this. I just never opened this version. And look, okay, so this is Tales of Eternia. This one's actually sealed. Now, there's versions of this game that have a glitch in it that prevent the game from working. Yeah, it sucks. But I recommend Tales of Eternia. It is a awesome, awesome game. This is Tales of Destiny 2, just Tales of Eternia in PAL regions in Japan. I paid that. I paid the $50 for this, and I don't even know if this is the glitch-free version. I don't know, but I mean, I have it downloaded and I've played it, and I do love Tales of Destiny 2. I played it on the PlayStation 1. Hell, I own it on the PlayStation 1. But yeah, you know, Tales of Eternia, you can probably find this used, and people will say in the description, that's one important thing. If you're looking for this game physically and you're going online and looking on places like eBay or Amazon, you want to read in the description and you want to see that this is the glitch-free version, because if you do buy the previous version that did come out, there was a glitch in the game that once you get to a certain point, the game was rendered unplayable, which is a damn shame, considering this only came out in PAL regions. This is actually a PAL game. PSP is region free, so that is not an issue, but highly recommended. Tales of Eternia on the PSP. This is the PAL version. Okay, this game, from what I remember, is extremely hard. This is a Blade Dancer Lineage of Light. And just like the third birthday, this does have a kind of foil cover that will remind you of like Working Designs releases and stuff like that. But Blade Dancer Lineage of Light. Okay, well, some pretty cool stuff in here. Alrighty. Got more games. I have more games. Okay, so this one I got it at Regen, which is a retro store that's like right next to my shop. It was $12, but it's a Steambot Chronicles game. I don't know why I save receipts, guys. I'm crazy, but this is an Atlas release. I wish I had the cover. I don't. Maybe I'll find the book in the cover or the case one day. But this plays like a Tron Bond and Misadventures of Tron Bond, or Soul to Robo, Red the Hunter. Fun little game. That's one I've always wanted on the PlayStation 2. I do not own a copy of Steambot Chronicles. One day though, I'll find everything around here. It'll turn up one day. I'm very patient. Here we go, Dissidia. For those of you that don't know, this is a really fun, fighting game that takes characters from different Final Fantasy and Square Enix games, and then you fight, and it's fun. And there's a PS4 version that kind of bombed that I bought the collector's edition of on launch. And I saved that PS4 game, and I kept the Warrior of Light statue. I did keep that. I sold the art book and everything though. But yeah, Dissidia for the PSP. And here's another fighting game. Again, I don't really recommend fighting games on the PSP. It's just, the artwork, and let's see what I paid for this. Yeah, $4. Yeah, see. But anyway, Guilty Gear Judgment on the PSP. I mean, still, if you find them cheap, guys, pick them up. Pick them up. Come on. PSP game, you got to. Okay. Moving right along, another fighting game, and it looks like I probably paid the $12 for this, but Darkstalkers on the PSP, and this is used. I never actually even opened this, but it looks like the manual that everything is in there. Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles. Wow. Okay, so I actually have the TurboGrafx 16, and earlier on in the video I made a mistake. I said that Rondo of Blood was for the TurboGrafx 16, although that technically is true, because that game came out on the CD portion of the PC Engine and Turbo CD, and the CD side of things is not region locked. So any kind of, and if you guys didn't know this is absolutely true, but any PC Engine CD game and any TurboGrafx 16 CD game will work on any region, PC Engine or TurboGrafx CD drive. Now the Hue cards are unfortunately region locked. There is hacks and ways around that, many ways, but that is rather unfortunate. But anyway, with all that being said, I do have the TurboGrafx 16 CD version of Ys 1 and 2. Ys Books 1 and 2 is what it's called on there. And I do play that on my Japanese NEC PC Engine Duo R. So anyway, like I said, card only. I got it from Regen, which is up the street. They have cool stuff there. I go there from time to time. And printed artwork, but Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles, or Ys Books 1 and 2, or remake of that, whatever you want to call it. And I actually have this on, and I think it's a little bit different, but it's on the DS too. But yeah, just throwing it out there. This one's complete. And there's another Ys game on the PSP. I do not own the third one, but this is, and actually the spines kind of line up. Let me show you. So I guess I need the first one that was released, but the spine, when it lines up, it says Ys. I think that's really cool. So for that reason alone, I need to find the other one. But anyway, Ys, the Oath and Filgana, awesome Ys game, totally worth it. This is like let's see what I paid for this. I don't remember paying a lot. It was less than 20, but yeah, totally recommend it. Download it, play it on an emulator. These action RPGs, a lot of them can only be played on the PSP. They're porting some of them. Some of them came out on PC, some of them didn't. Great games, and these are like classics on the PSP that are exclusive, so just throwing it out there. These Ys games, if you see them, definitely grab them. Okay, we're moving, we're winding up here. Look at this, and I feel like I got a good deal on this. Look, Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast for $7, and that's what I paid for it too. And I got this a couple of months ago. It's even got the Ferrari sticker on there. Got this at Gamers Paradise, and for those of you that live around me, like, you need to go to Gamers Paradise. Like, I'm telling you, like, fuck it, tell them I sent you there. Tell them John told me to come down here, that you guys will hook me up. Whatever, man, they will look out for you. Especially if you say, I watched John's video on YouTube and he told me to come down here. That will make them ecstatic. I'm telling you, go to Gamers Paradise. They have so much shit. Like, you guys don't even know how much cool shit I've gotten out of there for super awesome deals. Like, they just know how to get games, and they really hook me the fuck up. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. And they don't like give shit away to me, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like, $7 for this, like, come on, man. I don't know what it goes for online, but like, this is an awesome game, and I'm not a huge like racing game fan, but you know, just like everyone else, I do love the arcade racers that Sega put out. Totally recommend this. Again, it works fine on an emulator. I actually play this game on an emulator, but yeah, Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast, awesome game. Heart attack mode in this game is pretty fun, but yeah, just good game, good game. And so is this. This is another good game. This is Crimson Gem Saga. This game was actually, you know, Atlas brought it over here. I do believe this game was made in South Korea. From what I heard, the developing team was out of South Korea, which I find to be pretty interesting. You can tell the artwork's very, anime, but it's got its own aesthetic to it. This plays like a lot of like, JRPGs, but, this is another one, like Hidden Gem, guys. Like, I really enjoyed Crimson Gem Saga. I think I played it on vacation one time when I went, but can't recommend it enough. This one might be pricey, though. I don't know. 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 now. I don't know. It shouldn't be too bad, but I totally recommend it. Download it if you have to. This is one that I bought online, and this is a Breath of Fire 3, the English version, but it was only released in PAL territories. I got this online for like, not that much money, but a local retro store, actually, Gamers Paradise, had a copy of this. So, they get a lot of cool import stuff. And now that they know that I'm looking for that import stuff, like, dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm getting a lot of cool stuff from them. The video I did on the Xbox 360 shoot 'em ups, like, how do you think I got some of them? Like, I ordered them online, but they helped me fill out some of the games I was looking for. But anyway, Breath of Fire 3. If you want to play it in English on your PSP, and it be the official version, because there's many ways to play it, PS1 ROMs or whatever, but the PAL release, it shouldn't be that bad. This is probably the best RPG I ever played on the PSP. This is Hexyz Force. You have two main characters you can play as. This is Cecilia, and then you have Levant. I remember, I haven't finished it with Levant, but I did finish it with Cecilia, and I do remember beating this game when I was on vacation. People say this is a really short RPG, but I'm a completionist, kind of. Like, I like to just experience a lot that a game has to offer. So I think I might have put in like maybe 40 hours, a little bit over. So, man, I guess it is kind of a short RPG. But it's like two RPGs in one, because you have the story of Cecilia, and then the other characters, come out in the game, so it's all kind of intertwined. But, this is probably the best RPG that Atlas brought over here to us. And I remember when I got this, I think I paid about $40 for it, and this was a few years ago. I cannot recommend this game enough. This is probably the best game I've played on the PSP, honestly. But yeah, Hexyz Force, highly recommend it. Download it if you want to play it on an emulator, but it's great. It's Hexyz Force on the PSP. Now, we're down to the game that wouldn't fit inside the box. You ready for it? And I don't usually do this, and I don't buy these collector's editions except for when they're cheap, except for in this case, because I'm such a huge fan of this series, and that is Lunar. So this is Lunar Silver Star Harmony. Now, this is a remake of the original Lunar that came out on the PlayStation 1. Now, there has been many remakes of that game. That game originally came out on the Sega CD over in Japan, then we got it ported over from Working Designs, thank God. That version has an intro that's like a heavy metal kind of intro, which is weird. It's so different from the PS1 intro, but I honestly recommend the PlayStation 1 version of this. It's my favorite version of Lunar. I've played this on the Sega CD, I've played it on the PS1, I've played it on the PSP, I have played it on the Game Boy Advance. And I think that's all the ports of Lunar 1 that there has been. I think there was some stuff over in Japan that came out on the Sega Saturn, like Walking School and Magic School and stuff. And I want to get some English versions of those so I can play them. Huge fan of the Lunar series, and it's weird how there was so many ports of the first Lunar game, but Eternal Blue, which is really good. Lunar 1 I'm in love with. Lunar 1 is the reason I collect video games, honestly. I loved that game so much as a kid. It meant so much to me. That game was very special to me. I cry when I play it. You know, there's stuff that happens in that game that really affects me emotionally. But I honestly, you know, this kind of reminds me of a cell phone game too, just from the beginning. It's kind of weird, but I've recommend this version. I think this comes with like an art book and a soundtrack. You know, mine, the condition of it, there's a ding in the corner, as you can see, unfortunately. But I think I paid, I don't know what it goes for now. And I bought this years ago. I think I might have paid $75 for this, honestly. But it's got kind of a foil shiny, well, yeah, kind of has like a foil cover, like a Working Designs game. Hexyz. It's weird seeing that Hexyz Games logo on there, but it is nice seeing the Game Arts, you know, insignia on there. I am kind of glad that they haven't done more ports and remakes of Lunar, as to not tarnish the name, because believe me when I say this, Lunar 1 on the PlayStation 1, to me, you know, I'm sure others feel this way, but it's an absolute masterpiece, and it is stunning. And it has the better story of a video game that I've ever played, honestly. It hits me in all the right areas. But this game doesn't exactly reflect the feelings that I had of the PlayStation 1 version. To be able to take this game portably with me, and you know, in this day and age, not just emulate the PS1 version, is special, and I do recommend it, even if you don't get the collector's edition. And this is the game that wouldn't fit inside the box, I guess, because the awesomeness of this game cannot be contained inside of an Xbox One box. But anyway, that's Lunar Silver Star Harmony for the PSP. Okay guys, so that's everything that I have for the PSP. The only stuff that I left at home is the cable to hook this up to the TV. I do have a PSP Go that's in great condition with all the cables and the TV cables and the actual dock that allows you to play the PSP Go with a PS3 controller. And I had that thing brand new. I bought it years ago for like 10 bucks, and it's like mad expensive, just like the GameCube component cables. It's crazy what that thing goes for. But what are some of the systems that you guys actually collect for? Like, I don't want to sell these games. Like, I collect for this system. You can have an entire collection of PSP stuff and it take up relatively little space, and that's one of the things. And also the 6th generation of consoles with the PlayStation 2. A lot of these RPGs really remind me of that 6th generation. And this basically is highlights of everything good about the 6th generation, and that stuff really hits home to me. So this PSP system, again, it's one of my favorites to collect for. But what are some of the systems that you guys collect for, or what are some of the games that you guys have for the PSP that I need in my collection? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Now, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I talk about some pretty cool video games, and make sure you guys like the video. Anyway guys, till next time, peace out.